Welcome to Section B of our look at the Blind Billy fiasco. Sadly, because of the overwhelming amount of bullshit here, we had to send HK on vacation. Let's see what he's up to right now.
Recreation. Eat hot plasma meat bags.
That sounds like his idea of a good time, all right. Anyway, we're going to get right back into this disaster, starting with the fallout.
Raxo is talking to the principal, who explains, according to the goblin, that the age difference is what made them expel the victim instead of the supposed victimizer. This is obviously a ridiculous lie, among several. You're going to hear him slip up here. According to our best information, Raxo was at least 18 years old when this happened, and he admits as much indirectly.
I know you wouldn't do anything like this, but unfortunately, due to the age that he is, and you being the older one, I'm gonna have to expel you to keep this from, happening again. And I was in shock. I'm like, really? So you're just gonna let him go like that? Why isn't he getting expelled? Why am I to be the one to get expelled? He did this to me. It wasn't the other way around like he's saying. That's not fair. And he was like, I know it's not, but due to protocol and the rules that they have to abide by, because of the age, he was still a minor, and I was I think 6 months away from being 18 at that point. And due to that...
Notice how he didn't call himself a minor, which is what he would have been had he actually been 17. In short, there was one minor and one adult involved here.
They were like, we could have you arrested, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to, expel you and put you in another school for... your safety, and we also know that you're angry, and we don't want you going off on another student and hurting anybody. So unfortunately, they did have to transfer me to another school, and we fought it for months. We were like, dude, this isn't fair. Let me go back to my original school. Because North High School, where all this went down, that's where I met, some of my best friends at. That's where I met my friends of the band Sandcat that everybody knows by now. That's where I met, some of my best friends. That's actually where my best friend Zach went to school at. The one that was shot and killed in his family's restaurant. That's the school that me and him went to together and whatnot. So that school was very, very near and dear to my heart. It was very close to me and still is. I still go there every now and then to visit and say what's up. But, soon after that had happened, we were trying to fight it. It didn't work.
What did the police say, please, hon? What did the police say?
The police were there, but they said thankfully I was still underage, so they couldn't really, do anything.
What? So they were victim blaming as well?
Not really. They weren't victim blaming, but due to the whole age gap thing, they kind of had to be like, you are the older one. You should have known. And I explained to them, I was like, look, I didn't know. I had no idea he was gay. I did not know this. I didn't even know that any of this was going to happen. Unfortunately, I had no idea. And they were like, okay, well, they weren't victim shaming, they weren't blaming anybody, but they were going off of the whole, the age difference. I was 17, he was 16 at the time, so he was the younger one. So unfortunately, due to, that being as it was, they had to look at it as, okay, he's a minor, he's an adult kind of situation.
There you go again, meaty me. Letting the truth slip into your horribly constructed fable. You can't be an adult and a minor, dummy. You know how old you were, and you know you were old enough to buy cigarettes and get into titty juice bars. 18 was a big deal back then.
In a certain sense. So that's when they had made the decision. They were initially gonna have me arrested and thrown in juvenile hall until I was 18. Yeah, they were initially gonna have me convicted into juvie, and then, you know, when my birthday hit, they were gonna try me as an adult. But once...
That's not how any of this works, Raxo. Conviction happens at the end of a trial, assuming the person being tried is found guilty. There was no trial. Moreover, they can't simply hold someone until they turn a specific age to try them as an adult. Here in America, it's all about how old you were when the crime was committed. What you just described is a gross violation of a citizen's constitutional rights. We have no doubt they mentioned the possibility of keeping you in juvie until you were 21 before transferring you into a real prison.
And they had all agreed, you know, instead of, you know, putting me in juvenile hall and, you know, giving me a record that would ultimately affect my life, affect me for the rest of my life, they had came to an agreement of, okay, since this happened, to keep it from happening again, you know, we're going to place you in another school. That way, you know, you're in one school, he's in another. You guys aren't near each other, which ultimately is what led us to moving to the house that we're in now. Like, that's kind of what led us to this house and what led me to going to Garfield High School, where literally within like a week, you know, I met, you know, my best friend Jake, who everybody knows by now. He's literally like my little brother. You know, like, I can honestly say I couldn't ask for a better friend at all. Like, he's literally one of my closest friends, hands down. But unfortunately, you know, that definitely is something that I've had to deal with. I've not spoken to him since then, and I don't hope to, and I honestly don't wish to, honestly. Like, and this is something I found out that actually is legitimate facts, is that when, you know, you're a teenager, sometimes that will happen. What the teenager will do is they'll go after somebody that's older, and then they'll turn the tables around. After doing what they do, they'll turn the tables around and scream.
And is it something that you can still prosecute for, like, because of statute of limitations? Well, it doesn't have a limitation on the time that you can, you know, press charges for it. So
yeah, no, and unfortunately I can't, because we don't know if they've moved. We don't even know where they're at. So really, like, even if we wanted to, like, there's no way that we would be able to, you know, find them. Because when we go back on their Facebook over the last few years, like, my mom had looked into it several times, and they've moved around several times and so many times over the years that we don't know where they're at, unfortunately. So it would be hard to, you know, to be like, hey, you know, this is where they're at, kind of thing. But,
I think the police would find them.
I honestly don't know. I really don't know. But, like, for me, like, I'm not even, like, really, you know, worried about tracking them down at this point. And the reason being, and I know this is going to sound, you know, kind of weird, but this is just, you know, how I'm looking at it. And I know this is kind of a screwed up way to look at it, but I feel like, you know, me going through that, in a sense, was, and I know this is going to sound wrong, but this is just, you know, me speaking my piece and what I learned from it. I feel like, to me, it was like, I kind of feel like, in a sense, it was a good thing to go through that experience, as gross and fucked up as it is.
This is a hallmark of a bad liar. What Raxo has done here is present himself as a victim, one who should be interested in justice. Instead, he has weirdly minimized the supposed actual trauma. In the last part, well, let's use a football analogy. He said Billy crossed the goal line, but it wasn't a really big deal because he wasn't in the end zone long enough to deserve a beating. Where our meatbag comes from, a touchdown is a touchdown no matter how long a player spends in the end zone afterward. Now, when given the suggestion he could get justice, he doesn't know where Billy is. And besides, he's a better man for having his end zone penetrated. If you find yourself wanting to believe any of this, we pity you.
It's one of those things that was like, it was almost like, it was like a, it's meant to be kind of thing in a way. Because of the fact that if I didn't go through that stuff, if I didn't get put through that, I may have never met them. I may never have, met Jake or, my friends that I have now. So for me, it definitely does suck that I went through it. But also I'm kind of grateful because, I got to meet, some of the best friends that I'll probably be friends with for the rest of my life, honestly enough.
Well, I'm really glad, and well done for telling that. Well done.
Please note, we cut out a good 5 or so minutes of him talking about all the great things that happened to him at both high schools and his obvious parroting of other survivor stories. If that's your thing, we'll leave a link to the whole video in the description. Anyway, of course, this wasn't the end of it. He was talking about what happened again a couple days later with Courtney and her friend on stream. Details were changed.
I would be super, like, I heard you talk about the school, though, like, that you still have fucking Ram Pride and shit. I'd be mad as fuck, dude, about it.
Oh, yeah,
I would
absolutely.
be super mad.
I was very super mad at the time. But, like I said, aside from that, like I said, everything happens. Obviously that whole situation didn't, should have never happened. But also at the same time, the way I'm looking at it now, I know it's kind of a fucked up way to look at it, because most people would still be very pissed about it. The way I look at it is that if that situation didn't happen and I didn't get expelled, I wouldn't have made, like I said, the friends that I've made over the years that...
Listen, I dig your positive spin on it. I would still be salty as shit at a school that expelled me.
I was, right?
You're a fucking victim, dude.
Believe me, I'm still pissed at the principal that fucking did it. Like, I'm still pissed at his ass, and he fucking knows it, too. Because every time I see him in the fucking store, I still mean mug his ass. I still stare his ass down straight the fuck up.
Well, there's a big change. Last time, he pretty much said the principal and his mom saved his ass from prison. Now that Courtney mentions how upset she would be, we get salty Raxx.
The principal sat down and spoke with him. They were like, look, like, he's not a bad kid. He's actually very good. He doesn't, do shit like this. It's not like him. It's not in his nature. And my mom even sat down and spoke with them as well. And he just kind of ignores it. Like,
do you ever see this kid? Like, again, you spoke on the fact that he's blind, right?
I've not spoken to him since then, and I don't hope to, and I honestly don't wish to, honestly. Like, that we don't know where they're at, unfortunately, so it would be hard to, to be like, hey, this is where they're at.
Dude,
but like, there's been a few times where I've seen him in the store, and I've wanted to walk up to him and deck him so bad. Like, so bad I wanted to punch this dude in the face. But also at the same time, I know that if I do that, he would play the whole, oh, I'm blind thing and shit.
Cyraxx, I'm gonna let him up here real quick.
Oh, God.
Hey, guys. Alright.
It's open.
Well, first and foremost, I've never heard of a victim being expelled from school for getting...
Well, here's the thing, Marty, and this is what, then a lot of people do get confused on this too. The reason why they expelled me and not him was because of the fact that during the time that it happened, he was 16. I was 17, getting ready to be 18 in about 6 months.
Cyraxx said that he was almost sent to juvenile hall for this.
I actually was, because the security people there had looked at me, they looked at my age, and they were seriously thinking about sending me to juvenile hall, but because of the fact that I was underage and the fact that they knew that I would never like really do anything like that and that I'm not like that, they're like, you know what? Since we know you're not actually like this and we know you wouldn't do anything like this, to protect you from this happening
Cyrus, did they not believe you because he was disabled and partially blind? Was it the fact that they didn't believe your claims or whatever?
I think so. That may have had something to do with it. I'm not entirely sure, like, as far as their end goes. But I do know for a fact that when the initial stuff got brought to them, they were thinking about arresting me. But one of the and
why you, dude? Why you? You're the fucking victim. I don't understand. Why fucking are you going to get arrested?
Because in the eyes of the law, they didn't consider him the victim. That's evident.
And Cyraxx, you said that you were lying face down on the ground, and he somehow pulled down your pants and underpants and you in one act.
Hold on, before you talk, all right, before you talk, Cyraxx, is there any chance that this kid, like, did y'all have a little bit of a relationship? Did you have something like between the two of y'all?
I only saw him as one of my best friends, but I guess he didn't see me like that. He saw me as more than that.
Did you know he was gay? Was this something that you knew he was gay?
I honestly had no idea, because he didn't give off that kind of vibe. He didn't give off, that.
There wasn't anything weird, because again, like, growing up when we're kids, like all of us girls, like I think some girls miss the fact that, like, we kiss each other, we do weird shit. There was nothing like that. There was nothing that transpired between you and him where it was an okay thing with his ticket. There was nothing okay about it.
No, like, he never did anything to, like, make things, like, seem weird. Like, he didn't give off any kind of vibes, any signals, none of that shit. That's why I was like, okay.
How did the school find out, Cyraxx? Like, what happened? So, like, so this happens, okay?
Yeah.
And then you go to school on Monday, like, no big deal. Like, what happened? How did the school find out?
He wound up going to them for whatever reason. I don't know why, but he decided to go to them and tell them after, mind you, he sent me gave me a fucking note that fucking morning that I was reluctant to fuck the paper. I was like, fuck it. Let me see what he has to say in this note, and then just, throw it away, whatever.
Did you present the note to the school?
Do what?
Did you present the note to the school?
Oh yeah, I did. But to them, that was irrelevant. To them, that didn't matter. What had mattered was what had gone on. That's what had mattered at that point in time. They didn't give a fuck about the note. They only give a fuck about, like, you did this, so this is what's gonna happen. Like, that's the kind of school that they are. But what had happened was, he had gone down there, told them about what happened, and then they then called me down. I was in, like, English class that morning or some shit. I don't remember what class I was in. They called me down, and I was like, okay, what the fuck's going on? This is weird, because I have not been called down to the office in several weeks, because, like, about a month prior, I'd gotten into a fight or whatever and whatnot, and I figured, like, maybe they were going to talk to me about that. But no, I go down there, I see him there, and I'm like, as soon as I seen him there, I was like, okay, I know what the fuck this is about. So I was just like, what the fuck's going on?
But did you sleep over there that night? Why didn't you go home?
Oh, I did. I went home, like, as soon as everything happened, I went straight to...
You said you slept over there the last time, though.
Marty, why do you gotta make shit complicated, bro? For real?
It's an important detail.
Again, that's why, Cyraxx, I'm asking the question too. Like, was there anything consensual about it? Was there anything that y'all were fucking around, playing a little bit of fucking grab ass after hours and shit got weird? Is that
Spoiler alert, we think Courtney was onto something. See, not long after this, Blind Billy was found. His side of the story is quite different, obviously. However, pay attention to how he speaks about what happened.
Well, I'll tell you what Cyraxx said happened first. He said that you went over to go and play video games at your house because he said the power was out. And I mean, if you think it's the power or his brother, and he said the power, I'm going to go with the power. He said that he was up in your room and that he was lying face down and you ripped his pants off and it up.
Okay, so I have to make a bit of a joke with this one.
Sure.
If I had done anything like that, he could have easily pushed me off because I only weighed about 100 pounds, if not 90. So there was,
Here's where the same general feeling popped up as we had when Raxo was telling the story. Now, it is not impossible that Billy recovered fully enough to laugh about what he's going to describe. However, it does strike us as odd that, like Raxo, Billy doesn't sound like an actual victim of something he was forced to do. Also, let's face it, this first point of his doesn't quite make sense when we consider who he is talking about. We're not even sure Raxo weighs 100 pounds right now, so unless Billy is smaller than Raxo, this doesn't seem like the best argument. Raxo can barely throw his clothes off, let alone another human.
If that had ever happened, he could have easily just pushed me off. So there's no way in hell, even with the limited vision that I have,
sure,
that I would have done that kind of stuff. I'm not that type of person.
Yeah, I've always said it was like a dark room, with your visual impairment.
Yes, because this was during the night that it happened. So it was about probably, I want to say maybe early spring, maybe late spring, if not early fall. I can't remember, unfortunately, with that. But my room always got really warm during the summertime.
Mm-hmm.
And, so we were up in my room, it was late at night, probably 12, 1 o'clock on a weekday. And, when it gets hot, guys tend to take off their shirts and everything, that kind of stuff, just to keep cool.
Sure.
So I did that, didn't really think much of it. It was just keeping cool. And, I do, strictly, sorry about the details being a little...
that's more than fine.
But, I just remember, I was either on my belly on the floor, or I think I was searching for something, and the next thing I already know is...
In the interest of YouTube's policy on sexual stuff and minors, we're gonna have to skip this part. Suffice it to say, going back to the football analogy, in this version there was no touchdown. The end zone was never reached. However, Raxo forced Billy into, shall we say, a field goal situation. The goal line was never broken, but points came on the board. Anyway, the really telling thing was what happened when they faced each other. Here we go.
Hey, Billy, why don't you shut the fuck up and tell them the truth, you fucking ass little bitch? Why don't you tell them the truth about what you did to me, you bitch?
I removed him. He's screaming. I hope you're not uncomfortable with that.
That's real mature.
Hey, Billy, you're a fucking liar, you fucking ass little bitch, and you know it. And Bill...
You can't say the F word, Cyraxx. You will not be allowed here.
If I were you, I wouldn't trust this fucking...
I mean, he's calling you the F word while you're...
I mean, yeah, but
There you go, Cyraxx. There you go.
Come on, Billy. Why don't you tell them the truth? Tell them the truth about how it was acquitted and how it got let fucking go, you bitch ass. Hey, Billy, tell them the truth, you fucking this little bitch.
Acquitted? So, did this ever become criminal?
Tell them the fucking truth, Billy. Tell them the fucking truth. You fucking punk ass bitch. Punk. Tell them the goddamn truth, boy.
How annoying.
The fucking truth. And Marty, why don't you...
Yeah, that's the appeal.
It's like a kid on Call of Duty.
That's the appeal.
Billy, Listen, bro, you and I both fucking know that the schools removed me for my own safety so I wouldn't beat your goddamn ass after what you fucking did to me, you bitch. You ain't nothing but a fucking ass with a loser who honestly deserves to be behind fucking bars like the say you fucking are, you fucking punk ass little bitch. Hey, Billy, why don't you tell the fucking truth, you fucking... Tell the truth, you fucking loser. Because you and I both know you're lying through your fucking punk ass teeth. You and I both know that I know you better than any motherfucker. You and I both know that I know you better than anyone. You and I both know that you did that shit to me, you fucking... And honestly, Billy, lucky I'm not there right now, because I'd be beating your goddamn ass within an inch of your fucking life, you fucking punk ass little loser. So go ahead, keep running your mouth like the lying little fucking that you are. Go ahead.
No, honestly, get over it. Jeez.
This is another thing one would not expect to hear a victim tell his abuser. To get over it, much like Raxo, as we said, Billy doesn't sound like his life was changed much that night either. However, the question does linger. Is Billy a victim? You're damn right he is. Raxo accused him of a vile sexual crime in an effort to both garner sympathy from the public and make Billy look like a monster. False accusations like these ruin lives. And if Raxo had gotten his way, that is exactly what would have happened to Billy. So yes, there is a bad guy, and yes, it is Cyraxx.
Unfortunately, when I was about 16, 17 years old, God, I can't believe I'm about to talk about this, and this is crazy, but I do feel like... Yeah.
Don't forget that, you know.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, it's one of those things that you don't really want to face, but you kind of have to, in a sense. So, like, this is a good thing here, so... You know, like, unfortunately, when I was 16, 17 years old, around that time period, I was actually by one of my best friends from high school. Now, at the time, I didn't know that he was gay. I had actually met this kid. His name was Billy. We had gone to the same high school together. And me and him grew really, really close. We were super cool with each other. And at first, like, I didn't take him as gay. Like, I just took him as, you know, being, you know, that weird kid in high school that's just, like, really strange and, like, an oddball kind of person. Like, that was him.
And, like, I took it at that. I was like, yo, like, you know, like, he was really cool. He was super chill. He was actually the guy that actually introduced me to Linkin Park, ironically. He had gotten me into their music. So, like, you know, I started listening to them. And there was one day where he came over to my house, and, like, we were hanging out or whatever, and, like, during that time, like, he just kind of, like, put his arm around me.
Thank you for watching this. Have a good or better day, week, month, whatever.